Welcome to the first ever St. Leo University Parent Connection webinar. I'm glad you're here with us this evening. My name is Stephen Kubashek, and I'm the Director of Parent Relations here at St. Leo University. I'm a two-time graduate of St. Leo, having earned my undergraduate degree in marketing here, as well as an MBA. I've been around St. Leo for almost 10 years now, and for the last 2.5 years, I have served in this role as Director of Parent Relations. When people ask me what I do, I tell them that it is my job to make sure that the parents of our students know and understand the vast array of resources available at St. Leo University to serve their students. We have quite a few parents who have logged in to this presentation this evening, and I'm very happy to see that you're here. I hope that this presentation will inform you in order to provide you with useful information that you can use as you continue to support and advise your child as he or she grows and develops here at St. Leo. We've got a top-notch program planned for you, but before we get into the program, I'd like to take a moment to explain a little bit about this webinar series. So what exactly is a Parent Connection webinar? Parent Connection webinars are a brand new program that we're offering to parents of St. Leo students. In fact, this is our very first session. The plan is to have a series of online sessions for parents of St. Leo students that provide you with an in-depth understanding of the resources available on campus to your students. These sessions are intended to equip you, the parent of a St. Leo student, with information that can help you to continue to mentor your child throughout the university experience. These webinars will give you an inside look at how things work at St. Leo and an opportunity to hear from the people who make it happen. One of the things I like to emphasize when speaking with parents is that college is a time of great growth and learning opportunities for students. Those learning opportunities take place both inside and outside of the classroom. As students grow into adulthood, I'm sure that you hope that they continue to become more independent. Learning to handle the occasional roommate conflict, that pesky cold that always seems to come around once every semester, and even navigating the financial aid process are all learning experiences that help a student to grow, gain confidence, and ultimately become an independent person. With that in mind, my suggestion is that you should become as informed as possible about how things work at St. Leo, but you should really encourage your son or daughter to take the necessary steps to handle situations on their own, with your guidance, of course. Since this is a webinar, we have set up the program so that you will be able to view and listen to our presentation. I'm sure that many of you will have some questions. If you do, please type those questions into the chat box, and at the end of the presentation, we will take some time to answer those questions. Tamika Granger is this evening's presenter, and she will be sharing some very relevant information about financial aid in the 2013-2014 academic year. Tamika, welcome.
Thank you.
It's great to have you here.
Thank you very much.
Our original presenter, Melinda Clark, was unable to join us for this evening for unforeseen circumstances, but I'm very happy to have Tamika here this evening. Tamika Granger is the Associate Director of Financial Aid here at St. Leo University. Tamika's primary responsibility is managing the on-campus financial aid team. She also oversees the Student Employment and Federal Work Study program. Tamika has been working in higher education for the past 8 years and specializes in Title IV funding. As you already know, this Parent Connection webinar is designed to familiarize you with the financial aid services offered for your students at St. Leo University. Please keep in mind that FERPA laws prohibit us from answering specific questions pertaining to private student records during this public webinar session. Our staff is happy to address specific student issues privately after this session during normal business hours, and Tamika will provide you with that contact information during her presentation. I do, however, encourage you to ask any questions that you have about financial aid process that do not pertain to specific student records. As mentioned earlier, you can ask questions by typing them into the chat box, and at the end of Tamika's presentation, we will take some time to answer the questions that you submit through there. If we do not get to all of the questions during this session, we will follow up with you personally, by phone, or by email. Now, enough from me. Tamika, thank you again, and welcome. I've just got a couple of slides we're going to go through here real quick. Let's see. There I am, your webinar host. Just so you can put a picture face to the name. And there's Tamika, our special presenter this evening. All right, Tamika, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Very important message. As everyone should know, January 1st, the 2013-14 FAFSA became available. We encourage everyone to get your FAFSA completed as soon as possible. You can also utilize the IRS data retrieval tool. Well, you'll have to answer some additional questions, and they can retrieve your tax return information and upload it to the FAFSA. You want to check your student aid report for accuracy and any messages from the Department of Education, and respond to any email requests that are sent to the student. This is St. Leo's way of notifying the student if any information is needed. If you are selected for verification, and 1 in 3 students are selected for verification, we encourage you to visit our website at stleo.edu/verification, where it will give you additional information on the process and documents that are required.
I've got a quick question for you.
Okay, great.
About the verification process. Why are some students selected? How does that work?
It's basically an auditing process that the Department of Education conducts, and just how it sounds, verification. They just want to verify what the information that you put on the FAFSA matches up with your financial information. So it's nothing to be scared of. Again, 1 in 3 students is selected. It's a very common process.
Okay. And our team works with people as they go through that process, right?
Absolutely.
Great.
Satisfactory academic progress. You can get more detailed information on the requirements for this at stleo.edu/SAP. This is the government way to make sure students meet a satisfactory academic progress to continue their education and remain eligible for Title IV funding. You must also complete at least 67% of all of your attempted credit hours. We encourage students to check their satisfactory academic progress utilizing their E-Line account. It also gives instructions on how they can calculate this. We actually have a new SAP policy that was actually published March 1st, so make sure to check out the website and look for any changes.
Are those standards set by St. Leo, or how does that work?
Yes. Well, the 67% is set by the federal government.
Okay.
Every school gets to write their own SAP policy, but all schools have to meet within a certain guidelines. Basically, you have to show that the student's on the path to graduate.
Okay.
The objective is not to keep professional students in school. You want to make sure the student is on the path to graduate, and we're here to help you through that process.
And that's one set of standards, or do they differ by award type, by loans, or
They
grants?
differ by the amount of credits that the student has earned.
Okay.
The more credits you earn, you get on a different scale of what your GPA is expected to be.
Okay.
Basically, you can look at it as if, okay, I'm getting closer to graduate. Your GPA should not be going down. It should be going up.
Okay.
Okay, make sense?
It makes sense.
Awesome.
We hope all of our students' GPAs are going up as they progress
Absolutely,
along.
absolutely. Award letters. Now, as you do your FAFSA, you're going to get a student aid report from the Department of Education. You'll also get a notification that St. Leo has received your information, and our auto packaging system will actually award your account. The student will get a notification through email to check their E-Line account for their awards. To be proactive, we suggest everyone get their FAFSA done so you can get your awards and packaging done before leaving for the summer, and that way you already know what your financial status looks like. There may be some additional steps. If a student is going to take out loans, they may have to accept the loans, also fill out an entrance counseling, and fill out a master promissory note. So it's very important that students are paying attention to their email.
So when a student receives that email, what's the first step they need to do?
They want to log on to their E-Line.
Okay. And then they'll have basically a variety or a menu of different awards that have been
Yes, it'll say
granted.
financial aid per term. It will show them a breakdown of their student accounts. It gives very specific information to their awards.
And then the student, if they've been awarded or if they have the option for a loan or for a grant, they can select which ones they want to take. Is that correct?
Grants are automatically accepted. Loans are the ones that they have to either reject or accept.
Okay.
Okay?
Very good to know.
Institutional aid. Institutional aid is renewed every year as long as you're meeting satisfactory academic progress. Grants are renewed as long as your financial needs still exist. You want to check again E-Line to make certain that all of your aid is awarded.
So I guess an important point to make there is that a student's aid can change year by year?
Yes, absolutely. Just as though your financial situation can change year by year because you're awarded based on the information put into the FAFSA.
Okay. And so the grants, that'll come off the FAFSA, and if there's still need there, then they'll get those grants, or if need increases, they may have the option for additional grants.
Exactly.
And then for institutional aid, that also can change based on that?
Well, institutional aid is not need-based.
Okay.
Most institutional aid is merit-based based on the academic standards, and that's normally determined when a student enrolls, and they have to maintain the satisfactory academic progress in order to keep that award. We do have students coming in saying, oh, my GPA is higher, can I get more? But that is not handled by financial aid. They would actually have to contact their admissions department.
Okay. So that's where the GPA comes in. They've got to maintain that minimum standard
Yes.
in order to continue getting
Yes,
the institutional aid.
correct.
Okay.
Florida aid. Everyone should be pretty well versed on Florida aid if you're a Florida resident. For more detail, you can visit floridastudentfinancialaid.org. You want to file your FAFSA in order to renew your aid. The most popular aid available for Florida is the FRAG and the FSAG. There's a minimum requirement of a 2.0 GPA, and you must earn 12 credit hours each semester in order to qualify. Do you have any questions on that one?
Not on that
Okay.
one. I'm going to ask you something about Bright Futures,
Bright
but I'll let you
Futures, here we
explain a little
go.
bit about that first.
Here's information on Bright Futures. Minimum GPA requirement for the Academic Scholars Award is 3.0. For the Florida Medallion Scholar is 2.75, and for the Gold Seal, 2.75. Again, it's a minimum credit hours of 12 credit hours. And again, you want to check your status on that and make sure you're awarded correctly. That information is also located on floridastudentfinancialaid.org.
Okay. Now, I know that there's two ways to disperse Bright Futures. Can you give a little bit of an explanation about those two different ways? I got a question recently from a parent about Bright Futures and how that works and which one they would choose and why. And so can you explain how those two ways that it's dispersed?
Sure. When you initially set it up, you want to also keep a good relationship with your student's guidance counselor to make sure the information is updated. But you can either have it dispersed all at once, or you can have it dispersed throughout the time that they're in school. So you want to know exactly, what your financial goals are, and this is again why it's a good reason to get the FAFSA in. You know what you're looking at. That way you can make the right decision on what works better for you.
And when it's dispersed as the students here throughout their time, that option would mean that there's a certain amount per credit hour
Correct.
that's dispersed, right?
Correct.
Awesome.
For federal aid, students must accept their loans on eLion. And again, they must complete an entrance counseling and a master promissory note. You would visit www.studentloans.gov in order to take out loans. Many parents and students are afraid of loans, but we look at it as if it is an investment into your education. It's from the federal government. They work with students, and it's your portion of investing for your future. We often counsel students on loans that have any reservations. We welcome for you to come in the office and speak with us on those, and we can actually guide you through the process.
I think that is really important for students to understand the loan process and, come in and talk to one of the financial aid counselors so they can really explain how much the student's taking out. And it is important for them at times to use those loans, but we want them to be very responsible with it.
Yes, you want to borrow responsibly because it is a loan. You do have to pay it back.
Right. Can you explain a little bit about the significance of the master promissory note?
Okay, the master promissory note is basically the loan documentation, a contract between you and the government that you're taking out the funds, that this is a loan. Kind of like when you take out a car payment, you fill out all that paperwork. But in this case, it's all electronic. You fill out some basic information, demographic information. It's not credit-based. You put down some reference information, and you're good to go. And you fill it out one time, and I believe the master promissory notes are good for up to 10 years.
Okay. So we hope that all of our students only have to fill it out one time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Other sources of aid is a Parent Plus loan. You would also visit studentloans.gov. Parents would also have to go through a counseling as well as fill out a master promissory note. Outside scholarships, we do have some awesome scholarships on our website at stleo.edu/finade/programs. You also want to be proactive in looking for scholarships. The best thing about scholarships is that they can be awarded up until the last day of attendance. So scholarships have certain deadlines. However, you can continue to apply for scholarships while you're in school continuously. Don't just give up at the beginning. Keep going. We actually have students who come in, once a month. Hey, I got another scholarship. Even if it's for $50 or $100, every little bit counts. It's very rare that someone goes to school on one big scholarship. It's normally multiple scholarships.
Okay.
Okay.
And the Parent Plus loan, can you explain at what point that comes into play? Can a parent apply for that right away, or does a student have to apply for their loans first? How does that work?
Well, once you do the FAFSA, we encourage you to apply for the Parent Plus loan. The students, they can take out their loans, but they are only allotted a certain amount. If the parent actually applies for it and is denied, we can give the student additional federal funding.
Okay.
The Parent Plus loan, it is credit-based, but again, it's a federal loan. So we encourage parents to apply for it and see if they can get it on behalf of their student. And again, if you don't qualify, your student is then awarded extra money.
Mm-hmm. And alternative loans are really kind of then, I guess, like a last option?
Yes, as a last resort. There are some alternative loans out there. There's plenty of lenders offering them these days, but they are, again, credit-based loans.
Right.
Billing is a popular topic right now. Bills are normally mailed around the 20th of each month. The fall charges post as they are ready. Payment plans are also available on eLion. There's a small fee in order to set up a payment plan. And fall balances are due on the first day of class. So you also want to check your eLion. There is a billing section that is separate from financial aid.
Okay.
Okay.
And then when a student gets the bill, in order to register for the next term, what does their balance have to be?
If they're on a payment agreement, they just have to be current.
Okay.
In order to register. If they do become behind or default, there will be a hold placed on their account, and they'll be unable to register until they clear that up with student accounts.
Okay. So in general, the rule is a zero balance, and if that's not happening, then they can go on a payment plan and stay
Correct.
current with that.
Correct.
Okay.
Who do I contact? Our friendly advisors are always willing to help. You have myself, Tamika Granger. We have awesome advisors Frank Jackson and Wanda Felcher. At the university campus, we're located in St. Edward's Hall. You can also call our toll-free hotline at 1-800-240-7658, or you can email us at finade@stleo.edu.
Okay. Thank you so much, Tamika. Do we have any questions? I think that's the bulk of your presentation there, right?
Yeah.
So we've given you a good overview of how the financial aid process works, the different sources of funding out there. If you have any questions, feel free to type them in now. We'll take a few minutes to respond to those. Something else I wanted to ask, the FAFSA deadline. Did you mention that already?
No, and there is actually not a FAFSA deadline. There was a early filers FAFSA deadline, which a grant was offered for students to complete it by March 1st. So that deadline's passed, but we still encourage you to do it as soon as possible because some of the awards are account specific, meaning we only are allotted a certain amount. Once it's allocated out, it's gone. And even if you do qualify for it, we're unable to award it because every school only gets a certain portion, such as FSEOG, federal work study also I'd like to comment on. A lot of parents don't understand how federal work study is. If you're awarded federal work study, it is on the student to actually get a job under the federal work study student employment and come in and start working for that job so we can apply the awards. If the student doesn't get a job, they could take a chance and actually lose that federal work study. It's dollars that you earn through a paycheck. They're paid on the 15th and the last day of the month like everyone else, and those dollars are going to the student. If the student wants to apply that money to his balance on his account, he'll just need to make a payment, but he's actually earning a paycheck, and that's how federal work study works.
Okay, I've got a question here then on federal work study that's come in then. So if a student is awarded a certain amount for federal work study and they don't, do most students actually end up earning all of that money, or how does that work? Or, if they worked a certain amount of hours, what happens then if they don't get to that amount that they've been awarded?
It's never utilized. It's basically a maximum amount that they can earn. Students cannot work more than 20 hours a week.
Okay.
So most of our students actually, when the year's coming close to a close, we're getting to that point where students are getting close to that match. It's basically your objective is to stay employed and utilize those funds. If they don't have a job, then they're not awarded those funds. They'll see the awards on their account, but again, they're not dispersed awards. They're actually earnings that you're getting, and
Right.
it's an allotment that you're allowed to earn.
Okay. And that's a common confusion that I know I actually get calls about often. If it's say 1,500 or 2,000, most of the time, that's a maximum then that the student can earn, and then that
Correct.
money goes right to the student. And if they want to apply that to tuition, it's up to them to make a payment after they earn the money.
Correct, exactly.
Okay. All right. We'll take a couple more minutes if there are any other questions, and anyone wants to send those in, we can take those. If not, as you see, we've got several helpful financial aid resources, and I'll let Tamika mention those there. I think those are all the ones that you've mentioned in your talk so far.
Yes, the stleo.edu, you have the verification, the forms, the SAP, the FNAID programs for scholarships. Another wonderful resource is from the Department of Education. It's www.studentaid.gov. They have awesome information for general financial aid questions or concerns that you may have. They're also available on Facebook, Twitter, Storify. We encourage parents to become as knowledgeable as possible on financial aid as well as students. There's even mobile apps out there now that you can download in regards to financial aid. So it's very important to stay on top of it. Again, we are talking about finances, so it's something that you want to stay current on. Federal regulations change every year, so you want to stay current on that and understand because, again, it does affect the bottom line of your students' awarding.
Great. Thank you for that information, Tamika. And well, that's all the information that we have for this session. Next week, we'll be talking about a parent's guide to career planning, so be sure to sign up for that webinar series. I know I've certainly gleaned some new information about various types of aid that is available to our students, and I thank you for that, Tamika. It's always good for me to know these things, so when I get parent questions, I can answer them intelligently. A couple of takeaway items that I think are important for parents to stress to students is to be sure that their financial aid is lined up for the fall semester prior to leaving for summer break. I think that just makes it a lot less stressful for everyone all around when you come back in the fall.
Yes, absolutely.
Also, students need to work hard in class because those standards of academic progress are crucial in order for students to maintain college funding. So
Correct.
we want to make sure that our students keep their GPAs up. And I think that those are really crucial things for as a parent to stress to your son or daughter. Make sure that I know spring break is coming up next week, but as soon as they get back, urge them to somewhere between now and the end of the year to make sure that they come in, stop in, see someone on Tamika's team here on campus. They can definitely advise them to make sure that they're set up for the fall semester. I want to thank Tamika for being here. We really appreciate it, all the information that you've given here. We're going to archive these sessions so that way you'll be able to go back and we'll put them up on the website. And I think we've got a couple more questions coming in here. We'll take a minute to answer those. We've got our great student producer here, Eric Dirth. He actually helped us out in the beginning when we didn't have audio coming through, helped make sure that we got that set up. So Eric's helping to facilitate the questions and send them over here. Here's the question. Can students qualify for summer jobs on campus if they have been approved for work study during the 2012-2013 school year?
That's an excellent question. Actually, federal work study ends when the term ends in spring. All students who are hired for the summer are hired as regular St. Leo part-time employees. They don't go through the student employment process. They go through a regular HR process. So regardless if you had federal work study or not, any student can apply for a part-time position at St. Leo during the summer.
Okay. Are upperclassmen eligible for the early FAFSA filer deadline?
It depends on if you were eligible for it when you came in. From what I understand, they're not awarding it to students who did not have it when they first came in. But if you did have it when you first came in, it was supposed to be grandfathered, and you're supposed to get it every year.
Okay. And so they can contact your office directly to find out about...
They would actually contact admissions.
Okay. All right. Here's a question. FAFSA is not recognizing a filed tax return for at least 3 weeks. Tax returns were not able to be filed electronically until last Friday. Does this mean we're no longer early to get an early bird filing benefit?
Okay. The only thing that would actually affect if you filed your taxes, you can do the FAFSA. So you should be able to still have it completed by March 1st. March 1st was the early filer benefit. As far as using the IRS data retrieval tool, that may take a little bit longer, but you should have been able to get your FAFSA done.
Okay.
And you can also use estimated figures in order to get the FAFSA done. But again, I mean, the deadline passed on March 1st.
Right. And really, if they've got it done at this point, I think they're in good shape anyway, because
Correct.
That's pretty early now to have it done. Here's another question.
Okay, great.
They're rolling in now.
Oh, awesome.
In regards to the IRS retrieval tool, if chosen for verification, can you complete a corrected FAFSA and use the IRS retrieval tool the second time, even though no information changes?
Yes. That will actually keep you from having to submit your IRS tax transcript. One of the documents that is normally requested when selected for verification is an actual transcript from the IRS. We no longer can accept just your tax return. You have to order a transcript from the IRS. But if you go back in and select the IRS data retrieval tool, that will eliminate the need for us to get that document. You'll just have to fill out a few other documentation, but you won't have to fill out that one.
Okay, awesome. And here's a question that I can answer. How can parents get access to the eLine account? The actual answer to that is we don't have it set up so that parents can get access, although I am working on that. We're working on it with our database people, and it's something that hopefully will be rolling out as soon as possible. But it would be our databasing program. They're working on making or setting up access so that way a student can give access to a parent or someone else that they designate. At this time, that's not possible. So really the only way for a parent to have access to the eLine account is through their student. So we encourage parents and students to make sure that they are sharing that information. I'd love to have that. It's something I've been working on for quite a while now. I'm told we're getting closer, and as soon as we're able to do it, I will make sure that there's a notice sent out about it and that parents know that. But the other important thing to make sure is that you have a FERPA waiver on file. I don't think we mentioned that, and I'm sure as parents you've heard that when you came for different orientation events on campus here. If you call in, they're going to check to see if you have a FERPA waiver on file. And what that means is that the student, your son or daughter, has signed giving you access to speak with representatives of the university regarding the specific records of the student. So that's something important, and you can download that right off the website. Your student has to sign it and designate you as someone who has access to their student records. Okay. One other question. How many months or years do you need to live in the state to qualify for the Florida Student Financial Aid? So for, I guess, Florida Resident Access Grant, I think you pretty much have to be a full-time resident. I don't think that it's
I don't think
months.
it's month specific. You just have to be a Florida resident. But I know the specific details as to that is on that FloridaStudentFinancial.org.
Okay. All right, so yeah, that one is something you have to be considered actually a Florida resident. So whatever the qualification is for that, then that would make you eligible. All right. Do we have any other questions coming in there, Eric?
Yeah. Well,
Okay. One other one here. The student, I believe it looks like it was qualified for federal work study but was unable to find a job on campus. What do you recommend?
I recommend being very proactive. I'm actually reaching out to a lot of the hiring managers, letting them know that if they have current students that are working, they know for a fact they want to bring them back next year. Let's get everything squared away now, because students have to be very proactive about finding these jobs. It's not something that you can just apply online and wait for someone to call you. You have to understand that we have over 2,000 students and everybody's applying for those jobs. So they have to be assertive and apply for it. Follow up with that department directly. You know, try to get to know people. Say, hey, what are you looking for? Are you guys currently hiring? I'm very interested in working into your department. So they're going to have to be somewhat aggressive to get these jobs, because we do have a lot of students in that situation that they were awarded work study and they just didn't get a job, and now they can no longer get it. So yeah, it's very unfortunate, but they want to be proactive in getting their jobs. There's actually jobs some departments are posting early for the fall, so they can start looking as of now.
I think it's important to say it's just like the real world. Actually,
Exactly.
They need to get out there, network, talk to go see the managers face to face. Yes, you can apply online, but really it makes a difference if you go and introduce yourself and your resume to that hiring manager.
Exactly.
Because I think some students maybe sit back and think they've got the award, and so now that they have federal work study awarded, they're going to get a job. But really, it's not. It doesn't work that way. It just qualifies them to be able to get that money. They've got to go out and do some of the legwork and take on the responsibility of actually getting that job.
Exactly.
Okay. I see there's a couple more questions. Some of these questions look like they're specific to student issues, and if that's the case, we're going to keep a log of those, and I will follow up with you personally, and I'll have Tamika and her team answer some of those questions. But I'm going to take the last question here. It looks like it says there's a special circumstances online on the St. Leo Financial Aid site for 2012-2013. Will there be one put online for 2013 and 14 soon?
Yes, we are still in the process of updating those documents. So yes, there will be a special circumstances form updated. Depending on what the special circumstance is,
Okay.
I believe there's a dependency override form available. So again, and if there's a special circumstance that you do have, we do encourage you to call the 800 number so we can get you going through the process as soon as possible.
Okay. And yep, you saw that 800 number up there. We'll put this, like I said, we'll put this presentation online. We'll archive it. We'll put the PowerPoint presentation up so you'll be able to go in and look at any of the slides if you have something that you might have missed and you want to go back and take a look at it. But all of that information will be out there. Tamika's team will be very accessible. That 1-800 number is really key for a lot of things here at St. Leo Financial Aid. It's kind of a clearinghouse. All your questions and things like that can go to that 800 number and they'll be able to answer you. So again, thank you, Tamika. Really appreciate you being here.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks so much. And again, also Eric, our student producer for the night, we really appreciate you being here. Be sure, again, to sign up for next week's session on career planning by visiting stleo.edu/Parent Connection webinars. At the end of this webinar, you'll receive a quick 3-question survey. Please take a few seconds to let us know what you think about tonight's presentation. And as always, you can reach me. Right online is my contact information. Feel free to send me an email or give me a call. I'd be happy to help direct you as parents of St. Leo students to find the information that you need. Everyone have a good night.